All right, Ivan, how are you today?
Very good, Stuart. How are you?
Enjoying the public holiday?
Amazing, yeah. We are recording this on Monday here in
Yeah,
Spain. Yeah, public holiday today, national holiday because they are
that's right.
different
Country,
kinds. So
a countrywide holiday. So
exactly.
every autonomous community in Spain is celebrating this holiday, which is it gets more and more unusual, doesn't it, Ivan? Because we have the what they call the festivos autonómicas, I think they call them, right, or
We
something like
have
that.
all sorts.
Yeah, but what I mean to say is that sometimes you can get like, let's say, for example, Castilla-La Mancha will have a holiday, but maybe they won't in Castilla Leon because they're celebrating something different in those particular areas.
That is correct. That is correct, and that is one of the things that I want to talk today.
Public
The
holidays.
public holidays, or well, bank holidays, or what is going to be the comparison and my experience also in the different countries that I have been or know a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's actually a good time of the year because we're coming into a really heavy public holiday season here in Spain. We've already had
Indeed.
one, a fairly big one last month, which was, I think, the 12th of October, which turned into one of what they call here a puente. For people that are
Hmm.
not familiar with the concept of puente, normally it's when a public holiday falls on a Tuesday and people take the Monday off, or on a Wednesday and people take the Monday and Tuesday off, but you call that one Aqueducto, I think, right?
That is true.
That's it.
I
That's it.
think one of my first jobs it was in a public institution. So I was an intern when I was at uni, and
Yeah.
then I become kind of like outsourced staff of this public institution. And the funcionarios, the public servants,
Civil servants, yeah.
they have another kind of holiday entitlement. So usually, as a worker, you have
Oh,
your bank
that's right.
holidays, like everybody has.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As a worker, you have your annual leave
Mm,
entitlement.
mm.
But the funcionarios, they have something called moscosos, that is like days that you can use for whatever reason. Okay,
Yeah,
and that. So
yeah.
when
What's
there
the
was this,
what's the background of the Moscoso? Is it like was it named after anything in particular or?
good question, because I'm not a public servant myself. I didn't put too much effort into digging, but I'm sure some people from the community, some people that can listen to us,
Yeah,
can write something on the comments and enlighten us all.
yeah.
So, but
So
yeah, interesting name, nevertheless.
yeah, so just to put this into a context here, so public servants on top of the 14 or however many public holidays that everybody else gets, they get a certain number of extra days for them to do their own thing.
Correct, pretty much. And this term, because obviously I was outsourced staff for this public institution, so I wasn't allowed, or I didn't
Yeah,
have that allowance, pretty much, you know.
yeah.
So it was this kind of saying, this ingeniería de moscosos. So it could be translated as, like, I don't know, holiday engineering. Okay, so
Where you engineer the Moscoso day to get a whole week's holiday or something, right?
correct. So as you have described, it will be like a bank holiday on a Wednesday, because that's something that we will talk later.
Yeah,
In some of the countries, pretty much most of the bank holidays fall on a Monday, or maybe for Easter is the Friday,
yeah,
the Easter Friday. But in here, it could be anywhere. Okay, so they have a look to the calendar when it's published for the next year, for the
yeah,
following year, and they decide, okay, if I put that one day here, one day there, I don't know, I have like 3 weeks in a row plus
yeah,
another 5 days of my entitlement, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, it's try to achieve the most time off with the
Yeah.
less possible days.
Well, yeah, well, that's it. They're just taking advantage of something that they are allowed to do, basically,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah, yeah.
Nobody's going to say anything because they are, as you said, entitled legally to those days. It's in their civil servant contract.
Correct.
Mm.
That is correct. So yeah, it was kind of like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fun part, like, when you go
yeah,
for the coffee or things like that,
yeah,
the water fountain
yeah, yeah, yeah,
chat.
yeah. Yeah. Just interesting on that point that you mentioned there that I know that in the United Kingdom, for example, a lot of public holidays fall only on the Monday.
That is correct.
I don't know whether it's the same in Ireland as well, but it is the characteristic that
Yeah. In
you celebrate the day on
Ireland,
a Monday. Hmm.
correct. In Ireland, in memory serves, the only one that well, obviously Christmas is Christmas, and Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day in Ireland is whenever it falls,
Yeah.
and usually you have it like on a Saturday or on a Sunday. You have one extra day, sometimes the Friday, sometimes the Monday, things like that.
Yeah.
But in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is, whatever day it falls, that's it. So,
well, because it's a Saints' Day, and that's what happens here as well, though, right? Because a lot of the days that we celebrate are Saints' Days. So whether it's Pilar, I think, is the 12th of October, right? They call it something else, but in Zaragoza, they'll be celebrating Pilar and not Dia de la Hispanidad, right?
That is correct.
You've got, what are some of the other big Saints' Days? San Jose.
San Jose, so the day of the workers. What else we have? Well, the Three Wise Men in Spain, the 6th of January.
In Madrid, they celebrate Almudena, which is also a virgin, I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's like the saint or like the virgin name of the faith worship.
Patron saint or something of
Correct.
Madrid or something.
That is, every single region has like their own saint or like guard. Let's put it that way.
San Isidro.
San Isidro. So you have, you have, like, as you mentioned at the very beginning, 3 different layers. The national days, you have your regional days, and you also have local days. So next week, as you have mentioned, is La Almudena. Okay, and that is Madrid, capital Madrid. I
Only
think
Madrid
where you live, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
we don't
it's
celebrate
only the
that day. No.
Correct, that's it. And then on top of that, you might have, well, depending, this is for employees only, okay? You have convenios. So every year, the trade unions from different industries have like talks, okay? How this is gonna have for the next year, or maybe they have like 5-year convenio agreements, okay, with the trade unions. So the more powerful the industry is, the more negotiation power they have. So you might find some industries that have more holidays on top of that. Okay. So,
good.
And I put a little bit of research into that one. For example, the health. I was checking the calendar in Cantabria just to give me an idea. And the health industry, so nurses, doctors, etc., they have another 3 days on top of the entitlement. Yes.
Okay.
And the top one apparently is the Convenio de la Construcción. So the construction workers, they have 7. Correct. They have 7 days.
Because I think that word convenio would translate into some type of workplace agreement or something like that between, as you said, between the unions, the company. That's industrial agreement. That's it.
Exactly. So I was doing a little bit of counting and checking background information about that. So there's these people in Spain, you have so many holidays, and maybe to an extent is true. But if you put together all the bank holidays and your annual leave entitlement, you will see that it's not that much. And I have done a little bit of research, as I said.
Okay.
So for the UK, what I have seen is that normally there are 8 bank holidays in a day, and in a year. Thank you. And luckily for those working in the UK in 2022, you will have 9 days. Apparently, it's the Platinum Jubilee bank holiday.
Platinum Jubilee. What's that, for the Queen or something? Is it?
I imagine that will be for the Queen. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully she's all right. I know that there have been a few news.
She's a bit sick at the moment. I think she's been in and out of hospital. So hopefully she'll be okay for the Jubilee Day.
So exactly. For those of you interested in that one, so there will be a couple of days in June. And interestingly, this one is going to be Thursday and Friday, so you can have some puente in the UK as well.
There we go. Yeah, that's it.
So in Ireland, normally is 9 days. Okay. Yeah. So 8 days normal entitlement for bank holidays in the UK, 9 days in Ireland.
Yep.
In Australia, I was a little bit confused because it really depends on the state, and probably
it's around 12, I think.
Yeah, and one interesting thing, and when I was around there, I only enjoy one Anzac Day, but you have the Queen's birthday that every single state have a different Queen's birthday.
Yeah, because they don't celebrate the Queen's birthday in Australia on the actual day of her
Correct.
birthday. It's sort of one of these holidays that, as you said before, something similar happens here. Whoever does the calendars, whether it's politicians or civil servants, they're able to put that day wherever they think that it fits the best.
Correct.
Anzac Day, no. Anzac Day is the same day every year because obviously that's quite an important holiday now. But the Queen's birthday, yeah, just another day.
Yeah, exactly. I just find it quite amusing that you're like, well, every single state they have like a different Queen's birthday, right? So it's like, which Queen are we referring to? Every single state celebrate as a Queen birthday at some point, or
maybe in Queensland they celebrate it on the actual day. I don't know, but in the other states I have no idea, to be honest. But you're right; it does fall on different days according to which state you are in.
Exactly. So, following with the research in Spain, usually it's 14 days. So putting
14.
together the national days, the regional days, and the local days, and putting the industrial agreement days. Okay, that could be
just
something on top.
for the general population.
Correct. 14 days.
Okay, so we're already speaking 6 days more, because if you said the UK only has 8, Ireland only has 8, next year's a little bit different, of course, you said in England, but we're already talking 6 more days.
Correct. But an interesting thing comes into this one. If you refer back to what is the typical annual leave entitlement for a year for the normal worker, and by normal worker I mean full-time employee, typical Monday to Friday. So, probably you have shifts, you work on a weekend, things like that. It will change, okay? So I'm just talking general terms.
Yeah.
We are talking about 28 days in the UK.
28 days.
Bank holidays can be included or not. Okay. That depends on your employer. What I found in my working experience in the UK, I was in between 25 and 28 days. So they usually tend to keep it.
Are you talking working days or a calendar month?
Working days, usually.
Working days. So 28 working days.
As far as I remember, 28, exactly.
Okay, so that's 5 working weeks, 5.5 working weeks. Okay.
Yeah. I was checking actually the gov.uk, and they describe that as, and I'm literally reading, most workers who work 5-day week must receive at least 28 days paid annual leave a year. This is equivalent to 5.6 week of holiday. Okay, so that is quite of a generous one. As I said, later with the bank holidays, your employer can decide or not. But in my experience, what I found is that they quite respect those bank holidays on top. So just to continue with that one, the typical holiday entitlement, and again, I was just doing a little bit of research online. I don't remember much from my Irish time, so people around there can enlighten us more. That's for sure. So in Ireland, usually 20 days. And what I find in Australia is also around 20 days.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. So 20 working days, yeah.
Correct. And in Spain, usually this figure comes to 22 days only.
22.
Correct. So what happened then, if you totalize those entitlement plus the bank holidays, and again, for the case of Spain, we are leaving out the industrial agreements or things like that. In the UK, you can come, in my experience, it could be quite normal to reach the 36 days off mark.
Yep.
Okay. While in Ireland, in Australia, it will be around the 29, 30 days off mark. And in Spain, again, 36 days. So,
so Spain and the UK equal there. Okay, good.
Correct. And I remember I did this calc long time ago, while in the UK, because I remember being I have been working in a few multinational companies, and being in the UK and making calls everywhere. You discover that people is not answering the phone, and then you check regional calendars. Okay, they must be off. So it happened to me a lot that at some point I forgot really when are the days off, and obviously it depends on the region and everything in Spain.
That's it. Yeah, so quite a few days holiday, as you said. That's it.
Correct. And then obviously you have that, you in Spain, you are always on holidays, but you put the numbers and you do the math, and
Yeah.
UK and Spain,
Around the
you
same.
pretty much the same days. Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
good.
So I
So
just
no
find it
point
quite
complaining
interesting.
there. Yeah, so the same amount of holidays for Spain and the UK when you total them all
Exactly.
up. Okay, good.
So
Yeah, I've had the I'm not sure what happens in countries like France, but I've heard that they're also a country that has more or less around the same amount of public holidays. I think in Europe it's fairly standard to have
it
those
is.
14 days. I think.
It is, and as I said before, moving around the trade union agreements, the industrial agreements, which there's another thing that I found. Maybe in Spain, I perceive the trade unions are much stronger, or at least they have much more of an influence than in Ireland or in the UK. So you have those special treatments for special industries. Yeah, pretty much everywhere else is fairly similar. So just try to put some facts into that myth of in Spain we are always on holidays, but
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is that, and this is probably what people pick up on, is those holidays that fall in the middle of the week, and
yeah,
it is quite common. So if you are in Spain on holidays and it's a Tuesday, and all of a sudden the town that you're at is full of people. Oh, why? It's no, it's not a public holiday, but it's a puente. Ah, okay, all right, good. So
exactly.
that's probably why people get that perception, right?
Yeah, and then we come back with obviously the moscosos is like the term where the public servants, but
Yeah.
you can do the same thing with your holidays. If for example next week Almudena, I work in Madrid capital, so I have
So
Almudena.
for
And
you, it's a public holiday. Okay.
correct, that is on Tuesday, but I use one of my holidays to not to work on Monday. So
That's it.
in fact, I make myself, I'm not a public servant, I make myself a puente out of my holiday entitlement.
That's right. But of course, as you said, taking one of your holiday
Correct.
days away, so you only have 21 for the summer or Christmas or whenever you want to spend those, right?
Exactly. And also, talking about the holiday entitlement, what I found in the UK, and probably because pretty much my whole working experience has been abroad, maybe I was surprised maybe when I come back now.
Yeah.
But here in Spain, it is very common to take maybe 3 days, for 3 weeks, even 4 weeks for summer holidays. So there will be people like maybe in July or in August, they just take the whole month. Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was just going to say, I'm under the impression that a lot of companies want their workers to take their holidays in August or the second half of July or even the first half of September to get them out of the way, so that during the rest of the year. So if I compare what happens in Australia, my sister, for example, she's always taking a week off here, week off there, week off here. So she never has 3 or 4 weeks continuous holidays.
Correct.
But she'll take 7 to go to Bali, or 7 to go somewhere else or whatever. Whereas here it's not that common, Ivan, and I think it's because employers don't like it.
It is a little bit difficult and quite different. For example, in the UK, the longest that I have requested, it was 3 weeks when I was working in London, and it was kind of like, okay, I need to ask for permission, I need to escalate, etc., etc. So 1 week off, 2 weeks off, not usually they don't put any problems. So at least in my experience, they don't put any problems. Obviously, there's as many employers as choices are out there. But here in Spain, they expect you to take a big chunk of your holidays during summer. And in my experience, some friends that works in a factory, they pretty much oblige you. I don't know to what extent that is something that you can circumnavigate or not, but they have maybe like the factory stop for maintenance during those months, or maybe the demand in those months because whatever item you are producing goes down during that month. So pretty much the factory stops. They pretty much oblige all of the staff or most of the staff to go away. Maybe there's some maintenance returns kicking in during that time, etc., etc. But usually it's quite normal. While, as I said, in the UK and Ireland, with other markets that I have a little bit of experience, it's very difficult to get that much time off in a row anyway.
Well, you're being from Santander, right? So
Hmm.
Santander in the summer months is a busy place, right? Because in August, people from the
Yeah.
rest of the country travel there. So Santander probably stays open, everything runs normally. But I remember when I first came to Madrid, and I've spoken about this a lot, that the city basically shut down. Restaurants
Oh,
closed for the full month. You couldn't buy
massively. Yeah.
newspapers anywhere. The only places open were some fast food chains called Vips. Obviously, if you know what that
Ah,
is, that was one of the only places open where you could buy stuff because a lot of people just decided it was easier to shut up shop in the month of August and do whatever they do. But the coastal areas do become very busy.
yeah. I think during July and especially August
Mm,
in Madrid or well, Barcelona, I can say because it will be a busy time,
yeah.
okay, for everybody, all the workers pretty much to go away. But at the
Mm,
end of the day, Madrid is pretty much empty
mm,
because of the temperatures, I guess, because of the school holidays and
that's right.
this kind of typical thing to take a long holiday during summer and try to go to
That's
the
right.
coastal area. So yes, all the population kind of like shift towards
Yeah,
the coast.
coastal areas or the Pueblo, because Madrid's not really
That's right.
a place where you want to spend the summer. I guess
Yeah,
when you're in your
definitely
flat
not.
or in your apartment, you prefer to go somewhere else. That's it, and that's what people have done. I think it might be changing a little bit nowadays, but 20 years ago that was what it was like. Everything basically
Mm.
shut down in August.
Yeah. Well, this summer I have stayed pretty much most of July and August here in Madrid, and
Mm.
yeah, you can tell the difference in traffic, the
The
difference in
traffic, of
things
course. Yeah,
shopping,
yeah,
etc., etc.
yeah.
And for example, one of the things talking about today again is bank holiday. Usually on Sundays as well, things are quite close. That is another kind of like surprise. Maybe when I come back, I thought that this is a little bit more opening time freedom, let's say. So you go to like the center, like the Sol, the Preciados, the Calle
Yeah.
Alcalá. Well, Calle Alcalá is very big, but towards like the center, it
Mm.
tends to be more open, even on a Sunday or
Yep.
in a festivity.
Yep.
But outside, kind of like in the residential neighborhoods, uh, Sunday is sacred. Maybe you can just get the newspaper or the bread,
It
and
is.
pretty much
It
everything
is.
is closed.
It is in those parts of Madrid that you're speaking about, the residential areas of the
Mm.
capital city. But if you go to the outskirts, if you go to the Majadahondas, if you go to the Alcobendas, if you go to this place where I live here, Rivas, everything's
Uh-huh.
open. All the shopping centers are open, and a lot of people do come out from the center of the city to go to the cinema, or to.
But is that the big shopping center, the big malls, or the neighborhood shops are open
No, the
around there?
neighborhood shops are not open, but here there's a lot
Exactly.
of there's we've got Carrefour shopping centers which are open seven
Yeah.
days a week. We've got Media Market which is open 7 days a week. Decathlon 7 days a week. Leroy
Mm.
Merlin 7 days a week. All of these big chains.
Probably I'm not aware of that one because you need a car to go to those kind of places.
That's exactly right. That's
So
exactly right. And
I'm
that
missing
that's
out.
That's what people do. They hop in the car and they come out to these places here because there
Correct.
are things open for them to do. Like, for example, that place I mentioned just a minute ago, their Decathlon. It's amazing how many people
Mm.
go there on a Sunday to buy whatever they buy.
Yeah. Here, as I said, not having a car, I have a Mercadona and a few like small shop, like local shops, and yeah, everything is closed.
Mercadona does close, yeah. Mercadona
Mercadona
doesn't
does
open on
close on a
Sunday.
Sunday, and Mercadona, at least my local one, is closed today. So what happened is I have to go on a Saturday, do a big, big buy, hope for the best.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the rest of the population doing the same thing. All right, good.
Pretty much, pretty much.
That's it. All right, good.
So,
Anything else, Ivan, on the topic?
I don't. Well, we can talk a little bit about the shopping trends in different places and how adapt. Maybe that could be in a different topic, but it could be interesting to mention when I was in UK and Ireland, maybe with this kind of like freedom to open. Exactly, you are the owner of a shop. I don't know if there's any regulation. Okay, so I raised my hand in there, but I thought looking about the opening trends, etc., there was not much of a regulation, and if you are a shop owner, you can open whenever you want. And I get into those routines, and whenever I need something, I just go and buy it. Doesn't matter if it's a Saturday, it's a bank holiday, or anything. You tend to have maybe a little bit more reduced times. Maybe the supermarket on a bank holiday might open from 10 to 3 p.m. That's it. Fine, but at least you can do something. All right. Here, you live in a neighborhood, as I do. I cannot do that. And also the difference in the shopping, I'm talking about grocery shopping in Spain versus what I know from Ireland and UK. At least in London, and London is not UK, and UK is not London. I want to leave that clear. The fridges and the kitchens are usually not as big as they are here in Spain. So you tend to buy, maybe you leave the office, you pop up to any convenience shop or something street level, not really. Again, I didn't have a car. I had a motorbike in London. I don't think there is that culture of a one monthly big shop. Like it could be here in Spain that you get the car, maybe spend 200, 300 if you have a big family, and that's the big shopping for the whole month. And then you top up with the typical fresh stuff, or the fruteria, or like the bread or things like that during the week. But that's about it. And then next month, same thing, and everything is kind of built towards that kind of consume pattern. So as I said, in Spain, tend to be in general bigger fridges, bigger kitchens, more of a cooking scene going on, while
more
in
storage.
The UK, exactly. While in the UK, while this is my experience in London, it's more like small fridges, small cooking facilities, more convenience food, or more reheat food. That's why in the UK, or in my experience there's rows and rows of ready meals. And during the pandemic, at the very beginning of the pandemic, I remember the toilet paper, it was all across the wall. But in the UK, where I saw those first days, ready meals, fresh things out, and fresh stuff usually were available. So I could find lettuce or chickpeas or lentils or things like that were available during those times. While in here, what the people told me is the fresh stuff was the first thing to go out. So you can see in those facts how different the patterns of consuming, and what kind of food did you cook, you just reheat, or these kind of things. It's very, very interesting. I find.
Well, that's food. You said you've got a Mercadona close to you. That's becoming more common nowadays, this type of prepared meal type thing as well. I don't know in your local Mercadona, but in the one that we have here, they have a special section where they sell sandwiches and prepared paellas and ribs and burgers and all of this stuff now. So it is becoming more common, this type of thing as well.
I saw. I think Johnny was mentioning one of the episode, but no, my Mercadona is not one of those.
Oh, you haven't got one of those yet? Okay, all right.
No. I think mine is a little bit smaller. And as I said, I live more in a residential type of area, so everybody has a car. So I am maybe the black sheep.
All right, good. All right, good. We'll wrap it up there, Ivan. We've been chatting for a while, but good speaking to you again, and we'll be in contact for next week.
Absolutely. Hopefully this is helpful for people out there, and we will be in contact. It's true.
All right, good one, Ivan. See you later.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.